These are the first pictures into us showing people's pages exploding.
Just a couple of days ago, Israel launched a surprising attack on Hezbollah, using electronic frequencies to cause thousands of beepers to explode, killing around 1,000 Hezbollah members. This explosive event can be oddly compared to the transformation of Miley Cyrus. Once a wholesome Disney star, she quickly evolved into an unpredictable and explosive pop culture figure. In today's essay, we'll dive into this comparison and tie it to Groyper War 2, where Nick Fuentes leads the charge in a battle for conservative values.
Campaign in reverse.
Israel's attack and Miley's explosive shift.
150 were injured.
Israel's recent attack on Hezbollah was a calculated strike using advanced electronic warfare to detonate beepers, killing around 1,000 Hezbollah members. This unprecedented and highly effective attack sent shockwaves through the region. It reminds me of how Miley Cyrus, once a symbol of innocence during her Disney days, transformed explosively into a controversial pop star. Just as Israel's attack was sudden and destructive, Miley's shift into her new persona felt like an explosion in the world of pop culture. Miley, during her Disney years as Hannah Montana, represented innocence, much like how Israel once had a relatively quieter posture. But then, just as Miley ditched her wholesome image, Israel, too, flexed its power through a ruthless attack, marking a dramatic shift in their respective roles. Both Miley and Israel became more controversial, leaving the world watching in shock as they took on new, more aggressive identities. Miley's explosive transformation wasn't just about her music, it was about shedding her past image and embracing controversy. Similarly, Israel's recent attack wasn't just another strike, it was an advanced, tech-driven operation that reshaped the battlefield. Both Miley and Israel used new methods, Miley with her provocative image and Israel with technology, to make an impact that nobody could ignore. Groyper War 2 ties into this narrative because Nick Fuentes, much like Israel in this situation, is reshaping the battlefield of conservative values. While others play it safe, Nick is willing to challenge the norms and disrupt the establishment. Just as Israel's tactics were unexpected, Nick's strategies in Groyper War 2 are causing waves, pushing the movement to demand that Trump fire moderates like Chris Lachavita and Susie Wiles to fully embrace America First ideals. Miley's rebellion against her previous image drew attention, much like the bold moves Israel makes in its conflicts. However, while Miley's choices leaned into degeneracy, Groyper War 2 is all about pushing back against that very kind of cultural collapse. Nick Fuentes is the antidote to the Miley Cyruses of the world, standing firm for traditional Christian values and rallying young conservatives to fight for what's right. Much like Israel's attack on Hezbollah, which leveraged technology to gain the upper hand, Nick Fuentes is using Groyper War 2 to gain the upper hand in reshaping the conservative movement. The mainstream may be caught off guard, but just like the shockwaves from Israel's attack, Groyper War 2 is building momentum and leaving a lasting impact.
Or whether other white people.
Miley's descent into degeneracy. Miley Cyrus was once a clean-cut Disney Channel star, adored by young fans and parents alike. But in a sharp turn, she shed that image and embraced a more provocative, controversial persona.
Final episode.
This transformation, from Disney darling to wild child, reflects a broader cultural shift towards degeneracy. Just like the Hezbollah members caught off guard by Israel's tech-based attack, Miley's fans were blindsided by her sudden dive into shocking behavior and imagery. The parallels to Miley's downward spiral are seen in the cultural battles that Groyper War 2 seeks to address. Nick Fuentes has long argued that Western culture is under attack by degeneracy, and Miley is the poster child of that cultural decay. Her over-the-top antics, like the infamous 2013 VMA performance, mirror the kind of reckless cultural behavior that Nick and the Groypers are fighting against in the political arena. Miley's transformation was jarring, much like how Hezbollah was caught off guard by Israel's unexpected attack. Both cases show how sudden shifts can dramatically change the playing field. However, While Miley's shift represents a cultural downfall, Groyper War 2 represents a fight to restore traditional values and prevent further moral decay in society. Nick's leadership offers hope in a world that seems to be following Miley's path of moral decline. In Groyper War 2, Nick Fuentes is fighting not just for political influence, but for the soul of the nation. Miley's story highlights why this battle is so important. When pop culture icons like Miley embrace degeneracy, they influence millions of young minds, pushing them away from traditional Christian values. Groyper War 2 is a direct response to this cultural collapse, rallying conservatives to stand up and reject the forces that push society down the wrong path.
Exerts on that campaign.
Just as Israel's attack on Hezbollah was a strategic move to weaken its enemy, Groyper War 2 is a strategic push to weaken the establishment forces controlling the conservative movement. Nick Fuentes, by demanding Trump fire moderates like Chris Lachavita and Susie Wiles, is fighting to bring back the true America First agenda. Miley's story serves as a reminder of what happens when we let culture slip into the hands of those who reject traditional values. Nick's fight is bigger than just politics. It's a fight for the future of the country's moral fabric. While Miley's transformation was destructive, Nick's work in Groyper War 2 is constructive, building a movement that pushes back against the forces of degeneracy. And just like Israel's attack demonstrated its power, Groyper War 2 is showing that Nick and the Groypers are a force to be reckoned with in the battle for America's future.
And we do have our voice.
Groyper War 2, a response to cultural collapse. While Miley Cyrus's transformation from a wholesome Disney star into a symbol of cultural decay may have shocked the world, it's emblematic of a much larger cultural war. Groyper War 2 is Nick Fuentes' answer to that very collapse, rallying young conservatives to fight back against the forces that promote degeneracy in entertainment and politics. In contrast to Miley's descent, Nick's leadership in Groyper War 2 represents the return to faith, family, and tradition. Unlike Miley, who embraced the chaos of modern pop culture, Nick has remained steadfast in his commitment to traditional Christian values. His leadership in the Year 24 campaign alongside Kanye West shows that he's not afraid to challenge the establishment and offer something radically different from the cultural mainstream. Miley went off the deep end, but Nick is here to bring balance back to the culture. Much like how Israel's attack on Hezbollah was unexpected, Nick Fuentes' rise has caught the political establishment off guard. While Miley's transformation left people disillusioned with the direction of pop culture, Nick's rise is giving people hope that someone is finally willing to fight for what's right. Groyper War 2 is gaining traction, just as Israel's attack shifted the balance of power in the region. One of the key strategies of Groyper War 2 is to ensure that Trump's campaign is fully aligned with America First principles. Much like Israel's strategy in its recent attack, Nick's approach is tactical and focused. He's calling for Trump to fire campaign managers like Chris Lachavita and Susie Wiles, just as Israel's attack targeted key Hezbollah members to weaken their power. While Miley's actions represent the cultural forces that are tearing down society, Nick represents the resistance. He's building a movement that will stand strong against those who, like Miley, embrace chaos and disorder. Groyper War 2 is not just about political victories, it's about winning the cultural war and restoring America's traditional values. In the end, just as Israel demonstrated its strength through its recent attack, Groyper War 2 will demonstrate the strength of the America First movement. Nick Fuentes is leading the charge, much like a general in battle, ensuring that we don't follow the path of moral collapse that Miley Cyrus symbolizes. Instead, we'll fight for a future where faith, family, and tradition are restored to their rightful place in society.
We're not just coming for New York. We're not just coming for Chicago. We're not just coming for...
I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to subscribe, as I will continue posting only the best celebrity and K-pop content. This was Watch Wave, and until next time, have a good one.
high because Jesus Christ is the King. Go get him, Nick. See you, Nick. All right, farewell, everybody.
One block, when he gets to the big limousine. Nick, come on.